What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Deep Art, and we're back with another video. And today in this video, we want to go over a specific special topic regarding confidence, and not just confidence focus, especially for young players, right? So particularly I want to make this video to really go in depth to speak on the trials and the trials of being a young player, right? Hopefully this reaches, a lot of young folks who get into outlets in terms of, maybe 19, 18, or even 17, or maybe even just younger period, and you get into an older environment where you're hooping with older players, and you're getting a lot of experience at a young age. When you transition and when you come out of that environment, right, and you get placed into another environment, the most important thing is going to be your ability to transition what you took from that environment into the next environment and not give up your confidence, not giving up your functionalities, not giving up your psychology, not giving up, everything that you just learned and trained, So that's what we want to talk about in this video, because I know as somebody, who made it to the functionality, right, who didn't have a lot of confidence, who, had to put in a lot of work, just to get to where they got to, and the most important thing is confidence, it's about being able to really just balance out some of these things, right? But confidence is the most important thing, as a young person, or as a young player, who has played on that level, your ability to innovate, your functions and your game, right? To be able for you to still be able to play with that same intensity and same level, while even doing other drills, like, or committed to other functions, that's the most important thing. And I think that psychologically, my treasure and goal is to get to that level of being able to take everything with a purpose, of seriousness. Everything that I come up with, right? Being able to wax on and wax off, from different functionalities, and being able to apply myself fully to it, Because I know that there's a lot of different blueprints and a lot of different ways where you can creatively carve yourself out to develop yourself in a function, right? And I know as a youngin', like, it's easy or it's hard when you get out of the space that you develop yourself in, and you don't have these people really really telling you, and you had to adjust yourself, right? At a certain level, at a certain environment, and pick up those skills in that space. Your time comes early, right? Now your time is starting to come early at a stage or at a point where you're underdeveloped mentally. You know what I'm saying? So it's that much harder to be able to. It's hard to be able to function, and that's my thing, and that's my focal reason. That's my reason for making this video right here. Is because I think that kids or youngins, when they get out of a space where they train, they may train at a TV level, because at the end of the day, kids are getting a lot more younger, we're getting a lot more younger and younger in terms of when we get into these outlets, like to these professional leagues and training, But what happens when you're in a state of waxing off, and you come out of the league, and, you have to continue to function that way. It's your ability to stay focused on, what I really want to talk about. And I want to talk about, like, say it's, someone who's in a space or an environment that doesn't suit them, in an environment, in an unreasonable environment, people don't necessarily see the same values that you do, They might even hate your own values, right? They might devalue the things that you value. And, I'm talking about adults, old ass motherfuckers, right? Deadbeats and people, you know what I'm saying? Or even when you get into environments like this, mentally at a young age, are you going to be able to maintain confidence? And are you going to be able to maintain sturdiness, stability and sturdiness mentally in order for you to be able to continue those functions, right? In order to continue doing what you need to do each day, doing what you know you need to do, what other folks haven't seen, and what people try to tell you that, you know what I'm saying, you ain't seen, right? Because there's a lot of youngins nowadays, right? You be getting the blueprints at a younger age, right? You be getting the blueprint, right? But then people try to tell you this whole other way, you know, they try to tell you that you don't got the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Or other people try to tell you that you don't got the sauce, you don't got the juice, right? Because it's so unorthodox and it's something that they've never seen before, right? And that they can't understand. But understand this, ain't no fucking perfect way to do something, right? Excuse my French, excuse my language, but ain't no perfect way to do something. You know what I'm saying? Everything, any way you do something, it all leads to the same place as long as, you know what I'm saying, the effort is there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what gets killed most of the time. Like, the easiest way, or the only way to really destroy a person's systems, or to pick apart a person's systems, is to tell them that their systems is wrong, and tell them that the way they do shit is wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you can really defeat and pick apart a person's system, is to question every little detail about it. You question every little detail about a system that's been running and giving results. Now we have a problem, right? Because it may be unorthodox, or the system may be unorthodox, or it may be something you had never seen before. But at the same time, at the end, it gives you the same end result. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, if I pick apart the systems, if I pick apart at every detail, if I criticize every detail about it, if I come down on every, you know what I'm saying, sort of detail, divide and conquer your systems through details. You know what I'm saying? I divide and conquer your system through details. And now, it's like, now that this is out of place, you see some dysfunctioning over here and someone else over here. Now you have that sort of problem. You know what I'm saying? And the more sophisticated your systems are, the more sophisticated the dysfunctions are. You know what I'm saying? And there might be some other new factors coming in as well, because everything is at a high clip. Bottom line is, at the end of the day, people pick apart at a young age, as a youngin', right? And being young, especially when you have the blueprints, right? Because youngins are getting the blueprints. You see what I'm saying? It's a matter of confidence. It's a matter of being confident, you know what I'm saying, in whatever blueprint that you have, and not being able to fall to any sort of criticism or any sort of detail or any type of whatever that motherfuckers say about your systems, because the details that you have in your systems is for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? The details you have in your systems is for a reason. And the little shit that you see or observe shouldn't have an effect on how you implement those systems. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whatever type of environment that you're in, right? You should be able to continue functioning those same systems every way, and that comes from confidence. You know what I'm saying? Confidence in being able to, you know what I'm saying, not have any sort of deterioration from your own systems, right? And that's the hard part that I see in youngins, especially because of an underdeveloped mentality or underdeveloped brain. Nowadays, the most important thing I want to say as well, in terms of developing a system, is your health, your level of health. You know what I'm saying? Little things like this is actually important, because what I see now, it's not even a matter of a youngin' having the energy to be able to do something or to be able to give it their all. It's the mentality part. Because if you can't control the mentality part, how can you control the functionality of what you do? You necessarily can't. And this is because, like, you know, the functionality of what you do is connected to neurons, right? Neurons and commands, right? Neurons and other neurons commands, and from those commands, now you're able to perform an action or perform, you know what I'm saying, a function. That is the most important thing to train, and that's why I say mental training is more important nowadays, especially for youngins with an underdeveloped brain. What are you eating? What are you drinking? How much calcium or intake are you having? Or how much how much are you building your immunity system? How much are you really putting in your body food wise? You know what I'm saying? In order to keep your brain like actually at that level, right? And what environments and spaces are you getting into that would deteriorate your brain, right? It's really all about mental care and management of your brain. You know what I'm saying? That's the most important thing that I see nowadays. Is the many different ways that you can take care of your brain. Because if you can take care of your brain and the health of your brain, now you can be able to perform the action that you know that you need to be able to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's the key thing, right? It's being able to perform the action that you need to be able to do, right? Mentally. Neurons, neurological commands, you know what I'm saying? Or functions, right? Processing information. All of these different types of things is so very important, you know what I'm saying? Especially for a youngin'. Because as you get the blueprint that these adults and other folks don't see. You know what I'm saying? These older folks don't see the blueprints that you get, but yet they act like they know everything and they know exactly, you know what I'm saying, what it is that you have to be doing within your own outlet, within your own functioning. So you have to be able to have the mental management to be able to take care of your own mind and own mental care in terms of not just the food that you eat, but the environment that you get into and even what you inhale, you know what I'm saying? And actually literally taking care of your own health, right? You know what I'm saying? In terms of, because anything could potentially have, anything that you don't see or that you don't focus on can potentially have a mental effect, you know what I'm saying, on your own mind, right? And say if you're someone who's allergic to a lot of pollen or overly allergic to pollen or overly allergic to certain things, you know, certain types of things that you inhale, it's going to be important for you to be able to take care of, you know what I'm saying, what you inhale this way as well. Because again, like I said, this is mental. Pollen has an effect on the mind, and that's why it's important, right? And I know this video is getting a little bit deep into a lot of different things, but this is now what becomes priority for youngins, right? It's the mental. It's the mind. You know what I'm saying? As you get the blueprint at the younger age, you got to be able to have the confidence in order to be able to, you know what I'm saying, enact on that, right? It's not necessarily the energy level, but it's necessarily the confidence, you know what I'm saying, and the mental care of, you know what I'm saying, of your motor neurons and the commands that you know that you need to do. You know what I'm saying? And through proper care and through proper caterance to this, now you can be able to confidently and with a clear conscience be able to commit to the functions that you know that you need to commit to that nobody else does. And I see that a lot now. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have a lot of youngins out here who have the blueprint and know what to do that, and nobody else knows what to do themselves. But because they get influenced by folks who don't know what they're talking about, now they don't commit to the functions that they know to do, but they listen to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That really doesn't play a part, or really doesn't, they don't need to outsource into somebody else's information in order to get the job done. And I know this for a fact, you know what I'm saying? And this is something that I got to do myself, is to cut back on the outsourcing, you know what I'm saying, of information from other folks sometimes, you know what I'm saying, that really don't play a part into your story, you know what I'm saying? And as a youngin', you're going to have to be able to do that, because you got a lot of loudmouth motherfuckers nowadays, you know what I'm saying, that be trying to express their opinion or express whatever the fuck they feel with no type of evidence or no type of actual training or no types of nothing to back, you know what I'm saying, what they say and how people feel, you know what I'm saying? People really don't have any type of experience in life or no type of actual, you know what I'm saying, trials and hurdles that they actually been through, you know what I'm saying, that are vigorous, you know what I'm saying, and types of experience outside of their own bubble, you know what I'm saying, and then they'll try to have, you know, some sort of, you know what I'm saying, some sort of mental rent, or rent some sort of space out of your own mind, you know what I'm saying, and as a youngin', you can't have that, you know what I'm saying. The most important thing is to protect your mind, because as a youngin', and you know what I'm saying, with an underdeveloped mind, you know what I'm saying, that's what's going to be attacked, you know what I'm saying, just as a youngin'. An underdeveloped mind, it's not necessarily the energy level, but it's an underdeveloped mind that is used to soaking in knowledge and soaking in information from every sort of, at every environment that they have. We're told at a young age that it's good to soak in knowledge, soak in all the knowledge that you can, right? But, you know what I'm saying, it's important also to understand when to not soak in knowledge, right? You know what I'm saying? When to put the blinders on, and also when to you know what I'm saying, close those close those pores to certain outside information. You know what I'm saying? And that's the important thing to know as well, right? Is when to soak in knowledge and when not to, right? When to not do too much outsourcing. If you have your own specific set of folks or people that you listen to, stick and rock with those people, right? And build off those. You know what I'm saying? Now, sometimes when you get into a new environment, a new situation, then it requires a new set of ears. You know what I'm saying? It requires a new set of ears or a new set of perspective in order for you to get through that trial. But if you're not in a new environment and you're in a state of really wanting to carve out yourself the way that you've been carving out yourself, you need to stick to the same sources that you've been sticking to and not outsource anymore. You see what I'm saying? So that's the important thing to understand, you know what I'm saying, regarding that. You know what I'm saying? As a youngin', you know, your mind is the most important thing to protect. It's not it's not necessarily your energy level. And especially when you're coming from an environment where you've already trained, you know what I'm saying, yourself to operate within the function, and you've already, you know what I'm saying, obtained the knowledge. Because too much observation and too much looking and assessment of how things play out for other people can get you to a point to where you miss what you already have. It's about being able to monitor what you already have and understand, like, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, especially at a younger age, people are getting the blueprint at a younger age. So you might already have the blueprint, you know what I'm saying, and you're outsourcing for no reason. You know what I'm saying? As the internet or whatever continues to push all sorts of their perspectives and stuff, you might already have the blueprint that you already need in order to get yourself going. You know what I'm saying? And it's a matter of being able to, you know, disconnect a little bit from some of this other outsourcing and then being able to lock fully in terms of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And grow what you're doing, right? Because whatever you're building, whatever you're growing is only as good as the energy that you put into it. So if it's something that's not necessarily up to par, or if it's something that's not necessarily like as you want it to be, it might have something to do with the amount of energy and time you're focusing on it. And this is why I say the mind and mental health is so important, because there might be other factors about you, you know what I'm saying, other factors about you that's causing, you know what I'm saying, mentally for you to not be able to pour in. And why the mental is so important, like I said, is because, number one, the blueprint is being given to youngins. You know what I'm saying? Youngins are getting the blueprint, but a youngin has an underdeveloped mind. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why nowadays it's so important to change and alter the value and focus of physical and capabilities and physical output more to like the mind. You know what I'm saying? Mental health care and the health care of the mind, because of the age, you know what I'm saying, that the blueprint is being given to it, is that very important, and is that very important to protect that blueprint, you know what I'm saying, that old people just do not have. You know what I'm saying? So that's the important thing. That's the important thing I want to say. And because when you do have that information and you do have that knowledge, right? Listen, you got to find a way in order to implement that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, there's no necessarily any type of listening or worrying about someone else soaking up your energy or leeching off your energy or focusing on, because you're gonna have a lot of energy vultures and a lot of people that try to leech off your energy, and that's just the way it is. If it's someone who really has the blueprint and that really has it going, you're always gonna have someone trying to leech off your energy, right? The most important thing for you to do is actually be focused. You know what I'm saying? And not cater to it. Sometimes you gotta put the blinders on and be able to like just not react emotionally. You know what I'm saying, to certain things, which is heavy. You know what I'm saying, dependent, right? And it's to be able to take a mental log and take steps back. You know, and this time frame, I think the most important thing as well is to be able to just take your time. You know what I'm saying? To actually take time to step back, reassess, and look at the bigger picture, and just try to be as mentally strong as possible. Mentally strong as possible, meaning that I have a locked in vision on what it is that I have to do. You know what I'm saying? Or what it is I'm going to do, or how this is going to play out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by like mental strength, right? I have a clear cut focus on how this is going to play out, what I'm going to do in that end goal in vision, right? I'm this many steps ahead. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the most important thing, as well. And, you know, if this is something that you can do, you know, I think you'll be straight in life. You know what I'm saying? But, like I said, the blinders is the most important part. And me personally, I know this is more of a critical thought type of, you know, input. But me personally, I'm trying to see new ways that I can implement, you know what I'm saying, for my own systems, like what I already have and what I've already been through. Like I'm not trying to outsource. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to look to someone else and see how they built something and try to replicate how they built something. Like I want to be able to take, you know what I'm saying, whatever the trials and tribulations or, you know, monkey wrenches that get thrown in my environment, and be able to to do some internal searching back to a time where I was implementing something that could overcome this. You know what I'm saying? And I could just go back to that, you know, mode. You know what I'm saying? And that's the most important thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Is those times where I did, you know, succeed in something, you know what I'm saying, or that I did succeed in a certain aspect, and just being able to pull from that, you know what I'm saying, and put it back into and put it back into whatever that I'm trying to do, you know what I'm saying, or whatever type of trial or tribulation presents me now. I ain't trying to outsource. You feel me? So but that's my 2 cents on that. And you know, but yeah, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna conclude this video right here. Like I said, Joe, it's hard to you know, sort of get things done. I mean, especially like if you're not in an environment where you can really get into your own space, that's very difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult to do. But most importantly is to just keep your peace and keep your grace. Like, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna end on this note. I'm not gonna go too much farther. But this is another critical thought, you know what I'm saying? Something that I need to do myself. Is that grace is the most important thing, you know what I'm saying? And most important thing is that you enjoy life, enjoy what you do. And as long as you're doing that, man, listen, man, that's the most important thing. Like, even if you can't necessarily get into your space, like, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so you got so many things going on. Grace is the most important thing. So just enjoy life, you know what I'm saying? But, that's more important, right? But anyway, I'm gonna conclude this video right here. Hopefully this video is good for whomever needs to hear it. And just remember, like I said, always remain like 3 steps ahead, and don't always look for the grand scheme opening of ways in order to get something done, man. Sort of kind of look for the subtle things, you know what I'm saying? Subtle details, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to, everything doesn't have to be flashy, or everything doesn't have to go perfect, you know what I'm saying? It just has to go accurately, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you know what I'm saying, it's sometimes you need to take a step back and just accept and be grateful for what you do have, you know what I'm saying, in order for you to be able to not miss when things work out, but they don't work out how you want them to work out, or how you would like them, or how you envision them to work out. As long as they work out, then it's cool. You know what I'm saying? And that also comes from mental strength, you know what I'm saying, of being able to keep a detailed eye and analytical eye on the vision. You know what I'm saying? So definitely sit with that, you know what I'm saying? Keep that eye on your vision in detail, you know what I'm saying? So it's that way you don't miss, you know, when something is actually working out versus when something isn't working out, you know what I'm saying? According to how you would want it to work out, right? But anyway, that's the most important thing I say to these youngest. And yeah, that's gonna get you through life, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna get you through life, right? Right there. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna conclude this video right here. Peace, love, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully whomever catches this video can really take from it. But yeah, peace, love. This is a message to the youngins, and we out this joint.